Vince. They're really cracking down on safety belts these days.
What's up, officer?
I'm giving you a ticket for committing an 811.
Safety belt violation.
Compliments of Barney Fife.
We never wear safety belts. We're dummies.
Weisenheimers.
He gave us a ticket.
Man's got to do what he's got to do.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. My special guest today, Vicki Kohli from the Soil and Water Conservation District. Welcome, Vicki.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
We should do some radio together a long time ago.
We did.
In fact, your son, if I remember right, went to Santa Cruz, California.
He did. He's now actually finishing up his master's in Albuquerque, and then they're moving to Seattle in a week.
Wow.
So, yeah, and he's got a job looking up fish habitat on the Green River in southern Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, so he'll be whitewater rafting, looking for fish habitat. His wife said, boy, that's a tough job.
Somebody's got to do it, though, right?
Somebody's got to do it.
It's a tough job.
So good for him.
Vicki's the education specialist for the Soil and Water Conservation District, and I know there's a lot of activities going on. First one coming up is a rain barrel workshop.
Yeah, we do have several things that I want to let folks know about coming up yet this fall or yet this month and next month. So if they need a piece of paper and a pencil, sometimes that helps to keep track of things. There's a rain barrel workshop, and rain barrels are the things that you can use that will collect rainwater as it comes off of your roof. And there's a couple of benefits to that. One thing is you get the extra water that you can actually use to water your plants and your trees and garden and those kind of things. It's not drinkable water, but it's water you can utilize in your yard and for your own personal use. But it also, there's a lot of potential contaminants and stuff that, whether it's soil or bird manure or pesticide particles, different things like that have collected maybe on your rooftop for whatever reason, the wind blew them or anything, and it helps that water, once it gets into the rain barrel, it actually is able to be filtered and things like that, and also it keeps it out of the from draining directly into the creeks and stuff. It gives it a little bit of standby power, let's put it that way.
And that's going to be coming up on Wednesday, August 29th?
Wednesday, August 29th, which is next Wednesday, from 2 to 3 o'clock at the Buckeye Lake Museum. Now the glitch to this one is you have to have property that drains into the Buckeye Lake watershed and into Buckeye Lake itself. So if there's folks that are listening that are up in that area and that are interested in rain barrels and having one off their downspout of their house, it'd be something they'd want to sign up for. The rain barrels are inexpensive, and that's because part of the cost is picked up by a US EPA grant. They're trying to improve the water quality at Buckeye Lake and keep it good so that we don't have the same problems that they're having at Grand Lake St. Mary's and some of the algal blooms and stuff that are happening other places in the state. So,
now it says that the buckets are 45-gallon granite?
It's a granite color.
Okay.
It's a granite gray color. So they're not actually granite, it's a plastic.
Okay.
I know, it'd be awfully heavy, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? It's actually a granite gray color. So, and it holds 45 gallons. The cost of the workshop is $12, and people are allowed to take up to 2. But again, the big catch is you have to have property that drains into the Buckeye Lake itself. So be in that watershed. So for the folks up north, it's going to be at the museum at Buckeye Lake, and if there's people that are interested, they can call the Soil and Water office at 740-653-8154 or email at rainbarrel@fairfieldswcd.org. And you'll get in contact with Chris that way, and she can get you registered and check the address for verification, all those kinds of things.
Now, can you come and register the same day, or do you have to pre-register?
Preferably,
Okay.
we'd like to have it so we don't have to do it at the door. But preferably, we'd like to, and I think the registration deadline is this Friday. So there's still room for more folks to come, and if anyone's interested in that and lives up in that vicinity, again, it's next Wednesday, August 29th, from 2 to 3 o'clock, and it's going to be held at the museum at Buckeye Lake. which is on Walnut Road or State Route 79.
Now, you've been involved in this soil and water conservation for some time now. You've been
Yes.
there. How long have you been there?
I've been there 13 years, I
Okay.
believe it is.
Okay.
So, but I've been doing environmental education work for longer than that.
What made you get into that? What decided?
I don't know, I guess I have a lot of interest in conservation, and we used to do a lot of camping and boating and water activities growing up, so I guess it just is kind of in my DNA, if you will. And it actually turned out to be the right career for me.
Did it?
A lot of people don't have the opportunity to say that, but it actually ended up being the right thing for me, outdoor education.
Do you think people today are taking more interest in nature and things like this?
Definitely. We've finally started to see an influx in that. And I think it's also, like we were talking earlier about my son's job, I think it's created jobs like that too, and more field work and more data collection and those kind of things. So it's gone beyond the point of just raising awareness for environmental health. I think it's finally taken a leg hold.
Is it younger people or is it older people that are realizing, maybe we need to check this out?
I think both, actually. You get a lot of people, even in programs like this, we're getting a lot of phone calls on rain barrels and stuff, and people, they'll just comment, "Oh, this is wonderful, I'm so glad you're doing this," and things like that. And then the younger kids, like I say, it's opening up career opportunities and field work and studies and for biologists and things like that maybe kind of were going by the wayside for a little bit there for a while, but it's kind of brought it back into the forefront.
We're talking with Vicki Kohli from the Soil and Water Conservation District. She's the education specialist there, talking about a couple programs coming up. Again, Rain Barrel Workshop is Wednesday, August 29th from 2 to 3 at the museum at Buckeye Lake. And then a couple other things coming up. Annual meeting coming up in September.
Right. We have a lot of people that every year participate in the Soil and Water Conservation District annual meeting. And that is coming up this September the 6th, which is 2 weeks away, I guess, actually. And we do those at Alley Park. We start about 5:30 in the evening, and we're typically finished at least by 8:30. And that includes the banquet, which we start out with. You can also vote for supervisors. We have one board member that's rerunning and another person who's opposing him.
Is that like a 2-year term? Or
It's a 3-year term. Yeah, we're actually governed by a board of 5. And whoever's had their 3-year term in then has to either rerun or you get other folks on the board. But we have 2 people that are up, and so you can, if you have not had a chance to vote for the supervisor and you live in Fairfield County, you're eligible, and over 18. You're eligible to vote, and you can do that from 5:30 to 6 o'clock, and then the banquet's from 6 to 7, and then we have the program from 7 to 7:45. And this year we're having Donna Daniels with the Division of Wildlife, and she's talking about birds of prey. And if you read the Conservation Corner column that I write every year or every week for the Eagle Gazette, I've been doing a lot of articles weekly on birds of prey. So this year, and in fact this morning, I wrote the one on kestrels. So
when you write your articles, do you just sit down, and between 4 and 5 I'm going to write this article, or you do it at 11 o'clock at night, or?
No, I usually do them in the mornings at work. So it's
Is it
easy.
hard to?
It was hard in the beginning, but this is my 7th year of doing it. So all of a sudden you kind of get into a routine, and that's what you do, and topics will come up, and you think, oh, I should write on that. So it's actually gotten easier than harder. So I enjoy that. But anyway, Donna Daniels is going to come, and she's going to talk about birds of prey. So if there's a lot of people who watch birds, that's another area that has taken on a lot of interest from all age groups, is bird watching. And so if you have any interest in that, join us at the annual meeting.
How do we get tickets?
Call the Fairfield Soil and Water Conservation District office. Again, that's 740-653-8154, and Chris can get you all set up for that. I think adults are $12, and under 10 is $6. And it's always a good banquet and stuff.
Pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's very reasonable. And that includes the program and everything, too. That's the whole evening. And then after she's done with the program, we always do awards and presentations and door prize drawings and things too.
Oh, that's a big night.
It's a fun night.
That's a fun night.
It's exhausting for us, but it's always a fun night.
Again, that's the annual banquet coming up on
Yes.
September 6th at Alley Park. Then on the 13th, it's the Taste of Fairfield County.
Yes, September 13th from 5 to 7 at the Ag Service Center, which is the building that we work out of. It's the one as you go out to OUL and you turn right on College Avenue across from the baseball stadium. That's College Avenue. And just take it all the way to the back and you're going to end up in the parking lot. So you'll be at the Ag Service Center at that time in case you're not familiar with where that is. But we're going to do the last 3 years we've done the Ag Breakfast. And this year we've changed it up a little bit and we're going to do a early evening Taste of Fairfield County. And we're going to have local people who, orchards, poultry, fruits and vegetables, all those kind of things. Local people who produce food and grow food, they're going to have some tastings.
Wow.
So come on out and that's why we called it the Taste of Fairfield County.
What time does that start?
At 5 o'clock,
Okay.
5 to 7, and it's just an open air kind of format thing. We're going to have it inside the conference room, so once you come in the double doors, it's right in front of you. And you can come in and sample some of the foods or find out who grows berries and things like that in the county, some of the you-pick places that you may not have realized that were here, cider. I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head, but we have several orchards and several you-picks and farmers market folks and all those kind of things, and then the commodity groups as well, Cattlemen's Club, poultry, dairy, all those kinds of things. So
if somebody wanted to be involved in that, should they contact you? I mean, as far as
we could be
bringing food in.
Yeah, we actually work this one with the Chamber of Commerce and Extension and Soil and Water. I feel like I'm leaving someone out, but I don't mean to be if I am. But we Farm Bureau, that's the other one, and we co-sponsor that together. So this year it's going to be a little bit different. We just thought we'd change the location and change the time of day and kind of change the focus a little bit just to see.
Well, we talked earlier about just people getting more involved in the environment. What about food? Are people becoming more interested in organic food?
Organic food is there's a lot of interest there. The locally grown issue has also come to the forefront too. Every community has been kind of pushing that. You're supporting yourselves within by doing that. The food is fresher, so ideally should be healthier for you, depending on how it's grown and things too. And it just supports the local income. It keeps that money localized. And also, it also decreases transportation costs and stuff. If you're growing something in Fairfield County and hauling it out to Indiana, there's a lot of cost involved. But if you're growing it in Fairfield and you take it to Lancaster, there's a lot less pollution, a lot less gas usage.
Is there something that people should look for when they look at fruit or they look at veg? I mean, is there something that should catch their eye about?
Well, most people, I think, look for how they look overall, and if they don't have any bruises in them and scabs or rust, things like that on the outside. Freshness is always a big one, and it depends on the fruit. Strawberries, for example, if you pick them, actually don't keep very long. So you got to eat them pretty. Yeah, raspberries are the same way. They just don't keep very long, a day or two, and they don't look like they did when you bought them.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they deteriorate pretty quick. Now apples, you can have a month almost in your refrigerator, and you're not losing a whole lot that way either. So just depends. Cucumbers another one that keep fairly long, but they'll eventually, mold and those kind of things too. Tomatoes don't really keep all that long, or at least the fresh ones that you grow and pick and get from the field. Now the ones in the grocery stores, a lot of those varieties have pretty thick skins, or they're picked real green and forced into ripening and those kind of things. So,
do you get a lot of calls from people that want to start their own gardens and things like that?
A couple years ago, we did a little bit more of that when they started the community gardens. A lot of those efforts. We don't get a whole lot of that. I think Extension does more with that, really, than we do. Kind of a general rule of thumb is you have to kind of get the ground ready first, and they have always said about the third year you start to see what it is you were picturing when you first started to garden. But a lot of that depends on soils and what the needs of the soils are, how well it's drained.
And how much you work in that too. I mean,
How
I know
much you
people that
work in
work
them.
every
Yeah.
night they work in
Yeah.
the garden, and other people will do it once in a while.
Right, and that all depends on what you grow. You know, if you're going to grow dry navy beans, you just let them go till the fall, and then you pick them and put them in a jar or a bag or whatever you want to do. Or potatoes, they're a fall crop as well. Broccoli is an easy one. When it looks like broccoli that you buy in the store, you go out and cut it and you're ready.
Right.
But so, you know, some of the other things are a lot more labor intensive. The berries and you know, some of those kinds of things.
We have another event coming up the end of September. It's the Drug and Electronics Collection Day. It's at
Right.
Violet Township Service Center.
Right. We've been doing these now for I think it'll be our 4th year, and we do 2 a year. We do a spring and a fall. The fall one is going to be Saturday, September 29th from 9 o'clock in the morning until noon. And we have always been hosting ours, or have ours hosted at the Violet Township Service Center, which is located at 490 North Center Street in Pickerington at the corner of Steeman Road. A lot of people know where that is. They take drugs that are left over or not being used anymore. A lot of times there's medicine cabinets that are full of things that people didn't really need, or you may have someone who is deceased and you have meds there and you need a place to unload some of those kind of things. We take prescription pills, capsules, liquids, creams, gels, ointments, patches, suppositories, powders, syringes, and IVs. We do not take inhalers, and we don't take aerosols. If people want to, they can black out the name on the label. A lot of the jars have labels with names and addresses and everything on there. You can just black that out with a magic marker. And also, if you have things that are unknown in origin, and bring them in, there's no questions asked. We do this in conjunction with litter prevention and recycling, the sheriff's office, and the Violet Township trustees, folks up there too. So, and then we also, it started as a drug collection, and part of that was a water quality effort. Some of these chemicals, or a lot of people were flushing them down, or they go through your system, and you're starting to see unacceptable levels in the water. And they were starting to see some odd-looking fish and and some of those kind of things.
Sure.
And a lot of that's related to those kinds of things, and even things like birth control pills and stuff. Some of those hormone levels, so many people are taking them, that the levels are up. So anyway, this is a good way to get rid of all those kinds of things. We get a lot of those, and we've also added to it document shredding and electronics collection in the last two or three collections. Documents, you can be a limit of 3, 10 by 15 by 24, which is your legal size boxes per car. And people are always, unloading old tax forms and bills and things that they no longer need. So that's a good place to get that done.
Now, do they shred them while people are there?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes,
So
you'll
people
be
can see
able
that.
you'll be able to see that done, so you know that nobody's taking your information. And then electronics is also a really good one. Computers, laptops, printers, cables, keyboards, and mice. I don't know if you say mices or what, but and mice.
Whatever you want to say.
Mice, mouse. Discs, electronic clocks, VCRs, DVDs, radios, and cell phones. They will take monitors at no charge if they're part of a computer system, and by that I mean you have to have the tower
with it.
that goes with it. If not, they'll charge you $3 if there's a monitor only. And they will do televisions, but those will cost you $1 per diagonal inch. So if you have a 13-inch TV, it'd be $13.
Right.
But it's a way to get rid of it and keep it out of the landfill. And the folks who collect those for us actually are out of Licking County, and they tear things down and recycle all the parts, or they rebuild and refurbish computers. So a lot of that's reused.
At one time, recycling was a big issue, and that kind of went by the wayside. Is it coming back? Are more and more people recycling?
I think a lot of people actually do recycle, and most of here in Fairfield County, we're really lucky because you have that drive-through facility.
Nice facility.
Yeah,
Excellent facility.
It's very nice. So the big thing for recycling was trying to find somebody who would handle the product. So if you have the plastics run from number 1 through number 7, well, everybody took 1s and 2s. In fact, your plastic benches and stuff that you see in parks and trash cans and stuff, those are actually milk jugs. Those are number 2s.
Wow.
So there's a real good market for that kind of thing, but some of your 6s and 7s.
Now, how do they designate that? I mean, what's the difference between 1 and 7?
The material that it's made of.
The thickness of it, or just
No, the content.
Okay.
The content of the types of plastics and what's in them. That's what it is. The makeup of the material itself. And a lot of things aren't made out of 6s and 7s, and there's also nobody that's taking those kinds of things and making a product with it. So some of those things you don't have a market for.
So actually, the higher the number, the less value it's going to have?
Not necessarily. Okay. It just depends on the product and if people buy that product. You know, some things are liquids, and you may have a cleaning liquid or something that requires a little more dense material. So you have to have a thicker plastic, and so that requires another chemical compound to make that plastic.
Now, are those designated by Ohio EPA or federal EPA, or how does?
That's a good question. I don't know if I know the answer to that one. Probably through your safety codes. I don't know if it'd be OSHA and those kind of things too, and then probably EPA and things. So, but the idea is to keep things out of the landfill and to recycle and to reuse and you know, those kind of things. It's still good to use glass. You can always reuse glass. I mean, some of the basic things that we did when you and I were growing up.
Right.
There's still good rules of thumb to follow. So reuse what you can. But anyway, that's going to be Saturday, September 29th from 9 until noon. So when you're cleaning out your garage this fall, or you're listening to the Buckeyes and you're throwing things in boxes because you're mad at them about a pass or something, think about the Drug and Electronic Collection Day.
That's a good. So let's talk a little bit about the Buckeyes, because I know you're a big Buckeye fan. I know, you know, Urban Meyer's come in, and
new
this.
guy.
What do you think? I mean, what do you?
Well, I think there's a lot of good potential. I know this year we won't have any bowl games or anything like that, but I think we're going to see some turnaround in the program, and I think you're going to see a good program again. We actually ended up with tickets for September 1st, which is the season opener. So,
who do they play? Who's this?
Miami of Ohio. So, anyway, we'll see how the Urbanator works first.
The Urbanator.
That's what they were calling him. The Urbanator.
Now, have you always followed the Buckeyes? Have you always been?
Well, I went to OSU.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, as a student. Right. That's where I got my education. Yeah. So, yeah, I was in Block O when I was in school, and well, see, I was there when Archie Griffin was there. The same.
A pretty good football player.
Yeah, he was a pretty good football player. So there was a lot of Buckeye fever, and Woody Hayes. You know, you're in the fever days.
So when you see somebody wear a Michigan shirt, does it really bother you?
We don't like
you don't even talk to them.
We don't like them.
Well, my friend Tom Stoughton, though. Tom is the big Michigan fan, right? That'll be interesting. Yeah. Well, Vicki, we appreciate you coming on today and giving us an update on everything. Website, phone number, if people need to get a hold of you.
The Soil and Water Conservation District office is 740-653-8154. We're at 831 College Avenue in Lancaster. And the website is www.fairfieldswcd for Soil and Water Conservation District.org.
Are all these events on the website?
Everything should be on the website. So I'm not sure the Rain Barrel Workshop is, because it's isolated as far as who can attend because of the grant funding for that. But I know the annual meeting, the Taste of Fairfield, and the Drug and Electronics are posted. So,
a lot of good activities.
But if not, give us a call and we'll answer your questions over the phone.
Well, again, it's been a long time. I appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. And
thank you.
I know we're going to work on a couple special projects,
yes.
hopefully here in a couple weeks. And again, we do appreciate it. And you know, I hope the Bucks do well for you.
Yeah, go Bucks.
Yeah, go Bucks. Well, again, my thanks to Vicki Kohli coming in today on this edition of Lancaster Perspective. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
I didn't need help from anybody. I was good at everything. And this, the drugs and the alcohol, I couldn't stop doing it. I went down a path of destruction. It was just about escaping the feelings. I never used one without the other. It was chaos. A dump truck, insanity plowed into us. I know it was the devil. I actually got suspended from baseball. I said, I need help, but I can't do it anymore. I fell on my own. You do with me what you want to do with me, but I surrender.